Hey guys, good morning. Happy Friday. It's Daryl here. It is 4 a.m. on the dot here in Connecticut on the East Coast. And this is just going to be right from my heart, a video right from my heart just to talk to you guys. Okay, yesterday I made my first video where I saw how the right was portraying Donald Trump, Newsmax, Fox News, etc. were portraying the way that the Biden administration was handling unaccompanied migrant children coming in from Mexico and south of the border, and how they weren't distinguishing the difference between what Donald Trump did, which was zero tolerance, breaking apart families, arresting the parents and separating the kids, and over 500-600 of those kids never have been reunited. I've come across stories since then on how the Biden administration is working to get those kids, still working to get those kids back together with their parents. So that was my first video. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I made that video, I looked at the Biden solution, these campers, these detention centers, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, they didn't look that bad. I was thinking in the back of my head, well, is there a better way to do this? How else could they do this? And yes, there's going to be people in the United States that these kids are probably headed to, family members that are already in the United States. They have a destination in mind. Like Beau said in his video, that they've come 1,000 miles already. They didn't come that without a plan. And I thought about that too. And I just thought back to when I was a kid. And part of me honestly worried about these kids. I don't know. Sometimes maybe I think maybe I have a pessimistic view of things because of the 2 or 3 decades that I had of substance abuse and the people I came in contact with. Maybe I have a skewed view, a skewed opinion. The people I met in those 20 or 30 years. Maybe I didn't meet the cream of the crop in those 20 or 30 years. Maybe maybe I just haven't seen the whole big picture. And then I think about, then I'll flip-flop and I'll go the other way. Here I am growing up in a 98% Caucasian town, and maybe I am too lenient or maybe I assume too much that everybody has good intentions. Let's say it that way. Maybe I assume that too much. So, I'm constantly, and I've told you guys this before, I'm constantly questioning myself to reevaluate. Am I in the right place? This is just part of my process. I am pretty much the opposite of Donald Trump. I never assume that I am always correct. That my opinions will change over time. What I held firmly a year or two ago, I might be totally against a year or two from now. I'm not always right. I'm pretty much the opposite of that. I am constantly reevaluating myself and how I came to these conclusions. It's part of my process, and it's worked for me. All right. So I made that video, and looking at the detention center, I read into it with the barbershops. I know I talk a lot about the barbershops and the hairdressers and the hospital, the facilities there. And that's all I know. It didn't look bad. I thought back, once again, I'm trying to use empathy. The only thing I could connect to that was when I was in a lockdown facility. I put myself in there for 30 days. I stayed in a lockdown facility over 15 times, usually for a week or two. There's been a couple times where I was in there for 30 days at these hospital facilities, mental health facilities, they call it dual diagnosis, mental health issues and addiction problems. And once I was in there, I could not leave. It was locked down. I was, you're in there. I remember this kid coming in, and he had a suicide attempt. Young kid, about 18. I was about 38 at the time. We were all watching TV, and the kid comes in. He's got his wrist bandaged up, and you could tell he just kind of did it for attention. He didn't go deep, and he didn't do, And he's whispering to us watching TV. He's like, where's the elevators? I want to get out of here. Come on, hook me up. And we just start laughing. We're like, there's no elevators in here, man. you're like the Pink Floyd song, man. When you come in, you're in for good. You know, there's no elevators out of here. You're gonna leave when they let you leave. Yeah, and add to that, we were on the 9th floor. You know, it was a lockdown. They would carefully let the doctors and nurses in and out of these facilities, but they treated us good. And I remember that I was there. I kept in mind a lot of the other people there were always fighting against the hospital staff, and I wasn't one of those people. I always had in mind that these people are holding me here for my own good. It's something I asked for. Because inevitably, when people go in there, within a few days, they think they need to get in there when they are detoxing from the drugs. And then once they get settled, they want to get out and get their substance of choice again. And that's when they need to be held in there the most to get past, to get through their addiction. And I always looked at the staff as these people, call it tough love, call it whatever you want, but they're here to help. These people are trying to help me. And I don't know. You know, I know it's a whole different circumstance with the Biden detention, these trailers, but I kind of equated it to that. Maybe I'm assuming that everybody has good intentions again. I don't know, you know? Okay, so when I made that video yesterday, after the second video, after I watched Beau's video, I was kind of surprised at Beau's video because it seemed, there was one part where it seemed like he was pretty much advocating for children to just be let loose into the country. You know, I agreed with everything he said about checking why they're here. Did they run away? Medically checking, you know, their DNA. To see if they're headed someplace or if they've been fooled, you know, if they're headed to someplace reliable. But then, part of me, this is where we kind of differed with the detention centers. You know, if we're talking a week, 2 weeks, and not more than 20 to 30 days. Like I said, I've spent 20 to 30 days in hospital facilities before. And granted, it was probably a lot nicer than these detention centers. But, you know, it's not that bad. And if it's for your own good, you know, to keep you out of harm's way. You know, and I worry about these kids. Like I said, there's unscrupulous people. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm stereotyping or, you know, but if you just speak Spanish and you come into this country, you're going to gravitate towards the neighborhoods that speak mainly Spanish. Like I mentioned in yesterday's video, I've actually been in South Central. I've been in East LA, the South Bronx. You know, there's a lot of great food. There's a lot of great music. There's also a lot of danger in these places. There's people that know that there's people there like these kids, and they go there for that specific reason, to take advantage of these very kids, these very people that are here that don't know the country, that don't know the language. And there's people that prey specifically on people like these kids. I know this. I've seen this. You know, so part of me was thinking yesterday when I made that video, you know, it'd be better to just keep just, you know, 20 days in, you know, this detention facility. If you want to call it, you know, if you want to call it kids in cages, if you want to call it, you know, just a secured facility, but at least it's keeping them safe. Because once some of these unscrupulous people get their hands on these kids, there's, you know, these kids are gone. And, you know, that. So anyway. And again, I keep reevaluating. When I made that video, I started thinking to myself, you know, I'm a fan of Beau. I know a lot of my viewers are fans of Beau. I don't want to say anything where I disagree with Beau because I'm scared I'm going to lose viewers. But then I think about who I am as a person in my channel. You know, I'm not a yes man. I'm my own person. And I am amazed at how Beau's channel grows by 1,000, 2,000 subscribers a day, 250,000, 500,000 views a day. And the thing I love, you know, it's a simple background, a man just, you know, speaking with his knowledge. I love the blueprint for that, his channel. I've always admired it. So I'm hesitant to disagree with anything he says. But I'm not a yes man too. And part of me says I have to rely on myself. You know, that even the best of friends or best of peers are going to have a, you know, that's what makes good debates. You know, even the best of friends or peers aren't going to agree all the time. So I decided to just say what I thought. And I could be wrong, you know. Maybe Beau's idea of just letting these kids loose, these are good kids, let them, you know, not just let them loose, but give them more freedom where they're not in a secured or locked down facility. You know, maybe he's got a point. Then I saw the story about Deanne Tagilio. Now, she's the mission commander for the NASA Perseverance on Mars right now. She came here when she was 17 with $300 in her pockets from Cali, Colombia. This is just the kind of kid that Beau was talking about. So this morning I flip-flop again. And I'm telling myself, maybe I have too much of a pessimistic attitude towards these kids. Maybe Beau was more correct. That these kids come here, these are determined individuals. Even though they're 16 or 17, these are smart, determined individuals. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, and so Diane Tagilio is on my community page right now. There's a video featuring her on my community page I just posted this morning. Mission commander, mission director, I believe, for the Perseverance on Mars right now. An immigrant herself at 17 years old, a kid from Cali, Colombia. And you got to read the story where she worked her way through school, barely speaking English. And it's an amazing story. You know, so I'm constantly reevaluating myself too. And in the end, I have to have trust in myself, you know. And I was even worried to look at my subscriber numbers this morning because I was afraid I was going to lose a lot of people. You know, but then I know I'm not a yes man. I can't just agree with everything and anything just because I'm afraid of a little kickback. You know, if I believe in my heart that something's right, I have to speak up. And I could be wrong. You know, but I just have to believe in myself. Maybe this is what it's going to take to separate me and build my channel. You know, initially I got a lot of viewers from Beau. You know, and maybe having my own ideas and being secure and confident in my own ideas is what it's going to take to go that next step and grow larger. So I hope you guys look at my community page for this story on Deanna Tagilio. And that's about it for now. In about 6 or 7 days, I'm going to reapply for my monetization again. I have confidence that I was wronged, that I have a good, solid channel here that provides something to my viewers. And I don't understand why I was lost monetization for a month. Not only that, but I didn't receive any payment for December and January. A month and a half before they even notified me about this stuff, they withheld all the payments. Before they even said anything wrong. Back when they were telling me that I was doing a great job for a month, they didn't pay me for those. But I think positively, you know, I'm a good man and good things will come to me. And that's what I believe in my heart. And I'm just waiting to show you guys that that's true. All right, I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a great Friday.